Okay, so next video I'm going to do for y'all here is a review of the Fog comic that just came out. This is pretty much a sequel to the Fog movie from 1980, of course. Um, this is one of the covers that you can get. This is not really the cover that I wanted, but it's the cover that my local comic book store had, so, it is what it is. Um, so, The only thing I can tell you before reading this comic, so just so there's no surprise, is that because it's the first issue, the story of this one's a little bit slow, but that's okay. It's establishing it. I'm going to show you some of the visuals here. See if you can recognize some of this. Okay, so here we have like an older Stevie Wayne, as you can see. Adrian Barbeau's character. It's pretty good likeness if you look closely there. And then this one's supposed to be, yeah, that's supposed to be her son. As if you remember, I'm sure y'all do remember the movie Andy. And I don't think I have to tell you who this guy looks like. John Carpenter, of course. That's pretty neat little Easter egg there. So this follows the storyline pretty closely. So if you've seen the movie as many times as I have, there's no surprises. And they actually they actually show flashback. As you can see, the visual, if the computer would stop freezing, that is, the visuals like that you would have seen in the movie. It's pretty good comic book likeness of that. Um, this was done really well. I mean, you never know what to expect when you get things like this come out because they can be hit or miss. This has the journal entries of Samantha Loomis, which talks about leading up to what happened on, of course, April 21st, 1980. The thing I noticed about reading the journal entries, though, is that it says that the remnants of the ship look like that they had been burned, charred. And that, of course, did not happen in the original film. It happened in the remake. Which, it's not a bad thing that they brought that in. I mean, the remake was actually done really well. John Carpenter had a hand in that, and he stated that of the remakes between The Thing and The Fog, he likes The Fog. So, but anyways, just so we're clear on that, the ship in the original crashed against the rocks, sank off Spivey Point. So, but of course, if you've seen the movie, you know that. Um, so do I recommend this comic? Yes, I do. Um, I'm not going to give away a lot about this, the storyline. It's basically they're interacting, like Andy's interacting with his mother, Stevie Wayne, and they're talking about remembering what happened, and they're trying to say, like, trying to act like it's, like it didn't happen in some respects. Let's see if I can find that. Like right here, Andy says, I'm worried that if I talk about what happened, what I saw that night, that Captain Blake and the horror of the Elizabeth Dane will roll right back around Spivey Point in the fog. And this is, of course, a visual from what issue 2 is going to look like, one of the covers for issue 2. So, but I do recommend this. Like I said, I'm not going to fill it with spoilers, and obviously I'm not going to read you the whole comic. If you want to read it, you got to do that yourself. But I do recommend this. Um, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. You never know, what these are going to be, because sometimes, they have tie-in comics for, movies and shows that just, they just don't work. I mean, I've seen some that are just, aren't that great. I mean, a prime example of this is the newest, that 10 issue of the Darkwing Duck comic. Visually, it was fine, but the the writing was shit, to say the least. I mean, they had a lot of nonsense phrases, like when they'd be in a fighter where they'd be like quack and splat, or makes you think you were watching the '66 Batman series, which was a good series. I mean, those instances in it worked, okay, but Darkwing Duck is not Batman, okay. It doesn't work in a comic book. So I mean, to me, it was just lazy writing. Like I said, visually, it was fine. The storylines were okay at best, but the overall writing of that Dynamite Darkwing Duck comic is really not that great. I mean, I still have them because I'm a fan of Darkwing Duck, but you know, it's going to be a long time before I even have the urge to reread them, if I ever reread them. But this you can reread and not get tired of it. But I'll try to do an issue for or that. I'll try to do a review for issue number 2 when it comes out. Well, depending on how many people watch review for issue 1. I mean, it may not even be worth it for me to do a review for issue 2. But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. And I also have a video from my early days on YouTube talking about the fog in general. So if you go to my channel, you can check that out. I will probably do an updated version of that in the future too. Not right off, but I will. Just because I think it needs to be updated at this point. But another thing I can tell you is, if you like The Fog, there is another movie that you could check out, which is kind of a knockoff of The Fog. If you're familiar with the Asylum Entertainment, you know what I'm talking about. It's actually not a bad movie. It's called Jolly Roger Massacre at Cutter's Cove. Okay, so the the pirate has to collect 16 heads of the descendants that killed him or whatever. So you can definitely see it's a remake of The Fog, but for the budget it was and for what it is, it does itself very well. Like I said, it's not perfect. It's less than an hour and a half long, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. But if you like The Fog, it's a good one to add to your collection with it. Because honestly, that's why I have the remake of The Fog, just because I think it's so good and you just can't get enough of it. But could the remake have done better? Well, it shouldn't have been really, quote unquote, a teen horror film. But I get it. That's what the early to mid 2000s was for horror movies. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, that's what Freddy vs. Jason ended up being. Essentially, that's what Jeepers Creepers was, and just a lot of the horror that came out in that time. Just, that's what the crowd was aimed at. It is what it is. It was good. It was good for what it was. I mean, like I said, I like they provided a backstory to it, but yeah, I enjoy both films, and I enjoy Jolly Roger. So, now there was talk a couple of years ago about John Carpenter. I know this is a little off subject, but well, not really. But There's talk about from John Carpenter a couple years ago about doing a sequel to The Fog, a movie sequel. So we'll see if that ever comes to fruition. I mean, so far we have this. We have the comic book sequel, but we'll see if it gets turned into a movie and how that movie, ends up, being put together. Because I mean, when you do a sequel so many years after the original, it can be hit or miss. I mean, the original came out 44 years ago, so you know it has to be done delicately if it's going to be done. But I'd like to see, what they do nonetheless. But anyways, I'll see y'all next time. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for subscribing to my channel, and I'll have more videos for you in the future. Have a good day.